Hello everyone, Ember here, and welcome back to a new video. And in this one, I'm going to be taking a look at a Slowking deck profile from Perfect Order. Now, Slowking has been around for a wee while, and it's kind of come in and out of the format. I don't think Slowking has ever been quite as good as that single prize Zoroark toolbox deck, but it's a very similar kind of premise, where basically Seek Inspiration allows you to discard the top card of your deck, and if that card is a Pokemon that doesn't have a Roblox, you just get to use one of its attacks for free, basically, as this attack for 2 energy. So, which means you basically get to play a lot of really fun attackers. So if you like box style decks, then you'll definitely like Slowking. And thankfully, it did get a nice little buff to Perfect Order. Thankfully, we got Telepathic Psych Energy, which is a really nice addition because it just means you don't really have to run things like Poffin, which is good, and just frees up deck space for other things. Because when you have to play this many Pokemon and, other things like the Academy at Night Stadium to make the combo work, then you do run out of deck space really quickly for things like consistency. So, having telepathic energy is actually a really nice buff. I do kind of miss Xatu though. Like Xatu pre-rotation was a really nice way of charging up energy and drawing cards in the deck, but sadly we can't do much about that because of rotation, so we do at least have telepathic energy. Now, in Japan, they're running Slowking with Smoochums. Now, Smoochums is probably not a Pokemon you've ever seen before because, I don't think this card has ever seen that much play. But for 0 energy, you get to search your deck for up to 2 basic Psychic and attach them to one of your bench Pokemon. So basically, you want to get a Smoochums in the active, turn 1 going second, attach like a Telepathic Psychic or a basic Psychic to a Slowpoke, and then Smoochums 2 energy to a different Slowpoke. So essentially, you have 3 energy on the board and 2 Slowkings up and rolling by turn 2, which is all very nice. As for the attackers, we have quite a number of interesting ones. I would say the most important one is probably going to be Kyurem. Assuming your opponent doesn't run that pesky Shaman, Trifrost is a really powerful attack, allowing you to discard all energy, which does mean you have to lose 2 Psychics on your Slowking, but it is well worth it because you do 110 damage to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon, which is pretty lethal in this format. So if you're able to go first, or even just turn 2 after going second, typically you will be able to get a 3 prize turn. Of course, you still need to find Slowking, find a Kyurem, and find the Academy at Night, which is the most important card in this deck, I guess. But yeah, this stadium is very important. If you don't know what this does, it just allows you to put a card from your hand on top of your deck, which just means that you have protection against things like, I guess it would give you protection against some like shuffle draw supporters that would like disrupt your hand. But I think most of them force you to shuffle in anyway, so it wouldn't matter. It used to protect you against Iono, which is why I mention it. But I don't think there's like any supporters that maybe like force your hand onto the bottom of your deck or something. But if there is, that would protect you against that basically. So that's fun. As for some other attackers, we have Annihilape, which is mainly here for Megas. The attack Destined Fight will knock out your Slowking, so of course be careful and use this sparingly. But both active Pokemon are just knocked out, so that is worth mentioning. You can just one-hit KO a Mega Lucario, for example, which is cool. There is special energy that's kicking around standard format that prevents all effects of attacks, which will prevent this. So, just be careful about that, But other than that, Annihilape is a really helpful way of just knocking out a big Pokemon. Stuff like Venusaur just goes down in one hit, which is great because otherwise you are not chewing through a Venusaur. It's like a 4-shot with Kyurem. Like, that's just not going to happen. So, yeah, Destined Fight's really nice. I do also run this Zoroark, which has the attack Foul Play, which allows you to choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. So if you actually want a slightly more efficient way of knocking out Lucario, you can copy their own Mega Brave for, 540 damage or something? Just bonk them like that because you're Slowking, you hit them for weakness anyway. So, yeah, Foul Play is really fun. Mind Jack is also okay. It's why you run Zoroark over Clefable because Clefable has one attack that does 100 damage base and then Foul Play, basically. But Zoroark has Mind Jack and Foul Play. So, you may as well run Zoroark, I would say. So, yeah, it's quite nice. I do also run this Zoroark. It's not as popular in other Slowking builds, but I do quite like it. 60 damage, feature your opponent's Pokemon EX and Pokemon V in play. This is exclusively here for, Terra Box decks. Those massive box decks with, Area Zero and stuff, where they bench a million Ogopons and stuff. That's what this is here for. I mean, that's still, a pretty bad matchup for you anyway, because of they start spreading damage and this list doesn't run Shaman. So, maybe add a Shaman, by the way. A Shaman would be a good shout, but it's just kind of hard to track down, I think, in this post-rotation format. We have Poké Pad in the deck, but no other real way of finding Shaman. So, yeah, Shaman would protect you against Waterpon and stuff, but yeah, your opponent just needs 4 EX in play and you can do 240, which is enough to knock out most of the basics, which is cool. And Raging Bolt, so that's nice. I do also run the Haxorus. Now, Haxorus is quite fun. Has the attack Axe Blast, which says if your opponent's active Pokemon is a basic, you just knock them out. So if they're a basic Mega, you just take 3 prizes. Now, we don't really have any big, strong basic Megas in Standard right now. Like Marwow's kind of like a niche card in the Metagross deck, but that's kind of it for basic Megas. I'm expecting Mega Rayquaza to be very good in the TCG. As of recording this video, he's not been revealed, of course. So, yeah, I'm hoping Mega Rayquaza is good, so Haxorus can get free one-hit kills on them for days. But as it stands right now, it's mainly just here for basic EXs and other basic Pokemon. But yeah, it's a nice one-hit kill move. So we have plenty of ways of like cheating prizes, basically. Like, we're not just going to sit here and copy an attack that does like 200 damage. It is worth mentioning, however, that in this set, Chaos Rising, there is a Metagross, which can do 300 damage just off the bat. So you will be able to use Seek Inspiration and just do 300 damage, which is quite nice. So that'll probably replace Zoroark if I had to take a gander, because it's just better in every way. But as it stands right now, Zoroark's a pretty decent substitute. If you're really feeling quite spicy, it's not a most useful attacker in the early game, and I prefer to play like aggressively. But like Tortuga is also a fine option. 30 damage for each item card in your opponent's discard pile. So mid to late game, this can swing for pretty hard. So, just something worth bearing in mind if you fancy it. And if you fancy being really silly with your list and running lots of like draw cards, then you could run like Alakazam or something daft. But, like I don't think it's worth it. Like I don't think you need Alakazam in this. But yeah, Tortuga I thought was a fun option worth mentioning. We've also got Meowth EX in here, which is just nice to be able to find a supporter using an Ultra Ball. We've also got Latias for free retreat, which just because Slowpoke has a retreat cost of 2. So being able to free retreat into a Smoochums is great without the use of an air balloon. So we do have to run 2 Latias, unfortunately. 1 Fez EX for some extra draw power because like we just don't have a draw engine, so Fez is nice. As for the trainers, we have a single boss, 4 of that Academy at Night, very important card. 4 Poké Pad, 3 Night Stretcher because we will lose Pokemon, of course, discarding them with our attack. Kieran is also in here, which is nice. A plus 30 damage modifier, but also just a switching option, which is cool. We do also play Surfer as well, but that's the only switching cards that we do have. So just like bear that in mind as well. 4 copies of Pokégear, 2 Wondrous Patch, just a little bit of Psychic Acceleration, Also got 3 Colress, which is nice. Colress is just here to find you a Stadium and an Energy card, so we can guarantee our Stadium basically turn 2. That's kind of what we want Colress to do anyway. We also have a Hilda in here. In a perfect world, we could run like 4 Hilda, but sadly, there's just not the deck space for 4 Hilda, Like, Hilda's great. Like, you can just find a Slowking or, like, one of your evolution attackers, and it's great. But, yeah, sadly, not something we can afford to run more of. Like, space is very tight in Slowking. As for energy, we mentioned Telepathic earlier, but the A spec is Enriching Energy. If you wanted to swap this out for something else, then, yeah, that'd be absolutely fine. I think you could survive on 8 energy. But the 9th energy is quite nice. Of course, it won't provide the Psychic in Slowking's attack, but if you've already accelerated one the previous turn, then, of course, just slapping one of these on is fine. And you do get to draw some cards, so that's nice. But yeah, this is Slowking. Let me know what you think down below. Will you be giving Slowking a go? I do kind of like Slowking right now. I'm actually a Slowking believer for once. I really like it in this format. There was once upon a time I actually did not like Slowking that much. I thought it was too clunky and boring, but this format, Slowking's really doing it for me. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. And yeah, thank you for watching. Okay, so this is a pretty interesting matchup because I think it largely just comes down to who can like take the first KO, but also who has Shaman, because if he doesn't have a Shaman, then that's obviously really good for us. But yeah, I'm kind of torn whether I want to do this or not, but I will Poké Pad for another Slowpoke. This is mainly just for insurance. I ideally would like to save this for a Slowking if possible, but sadly that's not going to happen. So yeah, we'll do this. And I think I can put an energy down here. And then we will just simply Smoochums for... Actually, you know what? I will get a Academy at Night and a Telepath, maybe for next turn. But yeah, I will go ahead and use a Delightful Kiss. The reason why I played Colress this turn is because I intend to use Meowth. So, like, I want to Meowth for Lilies next turn. So I just want to get the Colress out of the hand already. And also guarantees a Stadium, in theory. Of course, my opponent could disrupt our hand. They could do a variety of things. But as it stands right now, we're in an okay spot. Like, we have 3 energy on the board. we have a much better starter Pokemon in the active spot. Now, unfortunately, if they do play the Shaman, then yeah, we are going to suffer quite badly, but alright, that's a Genesect. That's a Poffin, it's not a Shaman. So we just need to track down a Kyurem and a Slowking, basically. Which isn't impossible, like, it's not the end of the world. It should be, like, doable to some degree. So yeah, they can Genesect for 2 Aegislash or whatever they need, really. And then just reveal one of them for 60 damage, which is fine. Okay, that's good. So they didn't play a Shaman. So fingers crossed, if things go really well, we might be able to take a 3-prize turn, but obviously that's not going to happen every time, so I'm not going to put too much faith in that strategy happening. Right, Slowking one time. Oh, no, it's Haxorus. Haxorus is sadly very useless in this matchup, so unless we boss Genesect, so that's fine. I'll grab a Latias, actually. I don't really like putting 2 prizers in play, so do I want to do that? I kind of want it out the deck, though, is the only thing. No, it's fine. We'll just get Slowpoke. Right, Academy. I will discard Haxorus and the energy. We can go get a Meowth. Thank goodness it's actually in deck. Fez is also an option, but I think we just need a supporter at this point. And we can Meowth for a Lillies. Go and get her. And then we will Wondrous Patch to this guy. So we've got a lot of energy on the board, that's not a problem. Now we need an attacker and a Slowking. We got one and not the other. Actually, never mind, we can attack this turn. It's not like a great option, but it is an option, so... Actually, you know what, I'm just gonna do this. Right, Kyurem one time. Ooh, okay, so I might have wasted Night Stretcher, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. Alright, we might have wasted the Night Stretcher for Haxorus, but I'm sure Haxorus is happy, because that's probably the only time we're ever using Haxorus in this matchup. But yeah, Haxorus can do 160 damage, which is, yeah, which is cool. Now, we do lose some energy, but aside from that, we're okay. I did also forget that I had another Poké Pad in hand, so I could have got another Slowking, but aside from that, we're chill. Losing all our energy does kind of suck, but it's fine. So this puts us in a pretty good spot. My opponent is still able to claw their way back out of this, of course. So what we do really want is, well, a way of KOing Genesect would be nice, but... So yeah, I mean, we could just use Haxorus. If they don't, like, absolutely destroy our hand this turn, we could use Haxorus and use Axe Blast. And just knock out Genesect. Which would be nice. Because we can just Kieran into a Slowking. Because we actually have that in the hand. We've got the Poké Pad for it, so cool. The Slowking will be inactive for a little bit, but that's fine. So yeah, Fez really coming in clutch there. I did, of course, waste that Night Stretcher earlier for the Haxorus, but I mean, it doesn't matter. We can still use Haxorus to KO Genesect. So I'll have to see what my opponent does. They might be rethinking life choices, picking Dual Blade. I mean, things were going well for them. It was just like, alright, they just passed over. I don't know if that meant they were giving up on life, but... I mean, if we prized our other Slowkings, then sure, we still would have been out of it for a turn, but that's fine anyway. Still 5 prizes and 2 attacks is pretty good. Then we can Academy at night. We'll do the Haxorus. And we can Kieran. We will switch. And then, yeah. Let's put an energy on Slowking, because why not? And then Seek Inspiration. Skadoosh. Axe Blast, please. Not the crosscut. Right, goodbye. Knockout, please. Yes, thank you. Getting scared there for a second. Ah, fabulous. Ultra Ball Night Stretcher. Not bad at all.